Rachel Ray's Rebuild on Hulu is starting on October 23rd. The series will have Rachel's longtime friend, Anthony Carrino, here helping to rebuild homes of families affected by fires and natural disasters. Anthony, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. Thanks, man.
Let's talk a little bit about the families that we're going to see in the series.
We've got 4 different floods, a number of fires, 2 tornadoes, and 1 home that was struck by not 1, but 2 drunk drivers back to back, Friday night, Saturday night. Wound up in the living room and the dining room of the home. These were not small projects, Rudy. The tornado episode, the house was gone. Not hyperbole, like there was a foundation in the ground. That was it. The house was completely ripped apart. So it was, I always say construction projects are hard enough when you're just dealing with the construction project. Layer in a disaster, layer in having to deal with an insurance company on top of that. I mean, the stress and anxiety goes through the roof pretty quickly. So to be able to use my 25 years in this business in design, construction, real estate development for the greater good of these families felt pretty good.
I mean, especially that episode. I mean, that was my next question. As far as like, there's some rooms or places that you had to rebuild, and this was just a hole in the ground. I mean, tell me a little bit about maybe seeing that and knowing this was somebody's dreams, these were somebody's possessions, this was somebody's livelihood, and you having the task of rebuilding that for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't get overwhelmed easily, but when I pulled up and literally saw a hole in the ground, it was a holy cow moment. And I'm using holy cow because I don't know what platform we're exactly on here.
But holy cow works on every platform. Holy cow works on every
exactly
platform.
Right. Yeah, it's. Man, the stories they're heart wrenching. I'm not immune from shedding a tear on camera. It was some powerful stuff, and listening to these folks' stories. I mean, that family that we're talking about with the tornado and the house being gone, they have like a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I mean, they were huddled in the basement as the house got ripped off the foundation. So like, you talk about some trauma and like going through something. So again, to be able to come in and say, listen, focus on your family. We'll get you in by the date we said we would. And I just go to work with the contracting team, the design team, and we documented along the way. It was great to be able to put my skills to use in that way for those people.
Not to give away any surprises or anything, but as far as like the looks that the families gave you at the end of every episode, or where they got to see their house, how do you carry that with you? Maybe on a daily basis, or just in your daily work?
Yeah, look, I don't think you can give anything away. It's so powerful. You have to see it to experience it. And it's the reason you do it. Like that look, it doesn't get old. This is the first show I'm getting to do with Rachel after being friends for 10 years and doing some appearances on her talk show. But my cousin and I did 200 plus episodes for HGTV. Like, it doesn't get old. Like, when you can bring someone home, a disaster or otherwise, it's a powerful thing. Like, home is everything. It's a roof over your head. It's the kitchen. It's where you make meals for your family and share all of life's interactions. So I don't think there's anything more personal than that. And it's hard to overstate how powerful it is.
And just since you mentioned kitchen cousins, and a lot of times too, whether someone's going to buy a home or sell a home, kitchens and bathrooms are the 2 things that people look to invest the most money in. But obviously projects can easily go from just a couple of things to, triple or quadruple the budget that you had. Maybe a little bit of advice for people who might be considering some repairs or some things, especially this winter and fall.
Yeah, so it's the least sexy advice you will ever get, but it's the right advice, and it applies whether there's a disaster or there's not a disaster. Plan. And what I mean by that is, let the initial excitement of, okay, we're going to do this renovation pass. Have a great time putting your mood boards together, your Pinterest board, whatever it is, with all those pretty things, and then take a step back and do things in the right order. You got to hire an architect. You got to have drawings done. You got to vet and hire a contractor. These things take time. I would tell you, from the moment that you make a decision to do a renovation and you've got all those pretty pictures together, you should budget yourself anywhere from 4 to 6 months to get all those key players in line, get your architectural drawings done and your permits filed. Do it the right way, please. It will save you money and time in the long run.
Thank you so much for that wonderful advice. And the final question here before we go: how has being a part of this show changed your relationship and your friendship with Rachael?
You know, Rachel and I, it's so funny. Like, we really became fast friends, just, being able to talk between commercial breaks and then eventually hanging up at her house and whatnot and get to know each other. So like, we knew we had the same work ethic. She's like, you're the only person I thought of for this show. Like, we just have one of those relationships. That said, like, I can tell you she's the person you think she is. Like, she rolls her sleeves up, she gets dirty, she's given every family member that walks through the door that big hug. She's in the kitchen cooking with her culinary team. Like, she doesn't pass this stuff off and show up when the cameras are on. She's there, she puts the work in, and she cares.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait to watch the series. Anthony, thank you so much for your time today. Rachael Ray's Rebuild on Hulu, starting on October 23rd.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you.